Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Politics Today. I'm your host, Khalid. But politics is getting warmer and warmer as the elections get near. 25th of July is the date when the elections will be held in Pakistan, a very important day, as it is, of course, the third time a democratic government will take its power and shape after the People's Party government and then the PML-N's government. A lot of things that are going around in different parties and in different provinces. If we talk about Sindh, there are some leaders of the People's Party that are not too happy. They have left People's Party and become independent. Then, of course, we know that Zardari Saab as well as Bilawal are among the 160 People's Party candidates which will contest the polls from Sindh. When we talk about Balochistan, 122 nomination papers for the National Assembly, 539 for the Provincial Assembly. When we talk about Punjab, many different circles saying different things. Some saying that the PML-N will regain its power in Punjab. Some saying that the PTI is getting a stronghold in Punjab. Despite that, there are people who've left parties and joined PTI. Will they retain their importance as far as the national elections are concerned? When the election time comes, will they get the necessary vote for PTI to get strengthened in a region such as Punjab? As far as the PML-N is concerned, Shehbaz Sharif is running for the 3 seats in Karachi, 2 in Punjab, also National Assembly. Mariam Nawaz is going to run as well. There is some dissidence as far as Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan is concerned. He's not too happy because of the procedure that the PML-N asked him to follow to get a ticket. He's going to, of course, go on as an independent candidate. At the same time, the former leader of PML-N also, Nawaz Sharif Saab, talks about his rights being violated. And how is all of this going to turn around? And speaking of PML-N, Musharraf has submitted his nomination papers for Chitral's NA1 seat, while if we talk about the MQMP, Mr. Farooq Sattar has been removed as the convener of the MQMP. A lot of developments are occurring in the political front. How is this going to play out in the longer run? Are politics going to remain stable? Because a very little time is left before the 25th of July. To talk about that and more, and of course, the policy of the political parties while awarding the tickets, protests and reservation by different people as far as the ticketing process is concerned, whether it be the PTI or the Pakistan People's Party. What is the ideology of these parties, and are they going forward as per their ideology when it comes to the electoral process and giving seats to the different people for the National and Provincial Assembly seats? We've been joined by one guest. We'll of course be joined by another guest pretty soon, and then we'll be talking on the telephone with more people from different political parties as time goes on. Let me introduce you to my guest. He is Siddique Farooq Saab from the PML-N. Siddique Farooq Saab, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you, Umar.
I had to kind of start on a broad note to tell which parties are doing what in different provinces. Let's start with your own party. What happened with Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan, sir?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Since you have mentioned Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan specifically.
Because he's not happy, sir, because of the way the process for awarding tickets is concerned. Now he's, of course, going on as an independent.
I think discipline is for all to follow.
All right.
And Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan always wants that he should be kept above discipline and all other things.
All right.
I know him and his family since early 60s. So he has a peculiar temperament. He was not at good terms with Senate.
All right.
You know, he was quarreling with cabinet colleagues.
All right.
He didn't have good terms even within party. So to some extent, arrogant.
All right. But he was quite an avid supporter of the PML-N, sir. Isn't it going to prove to be a dent in the long term for the PML-N?
It is not the question of supporting or opposing. Whenever an important time came, he showed his reservations. He goes to public, to press, and tries to wash dirty linens in public. That's not proper for a politician. If he is a seasoned politician, if he believes in discipline, if he has differences or different a point of view, he should keep that difference within party ranks.
All right.
What decision is taken by the majority, he should also follow that. He should not dictate.
All right.
So he has some sort of problems.
All right.
Health problems and other problems.
All right. Going beyond this, there have been others who've deserted the PML-N. The former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, he says that the party remains united in the face of the alleged desertions and the propaganda that is happening against the party.
Yes, yes.
How confident are you as far as the PML-N is concerned, and why do you feel, my second part is, why do you feel these members have deserted the PML-N and joined other political parties?
This desertion is not natural. There is hidden hand behind this desertion because I think 2 days back, a PML-N MP came to me and he quoted 1 or 2 officers who invited him and asked him to join such and such party. Well, then he said, I don't believe in this turncoatism, so I am with this party. But this is the case with so many PML-N leaders. But as far as the people of Pakistan is concerned, we believe that they will vote in the light of the performance.
All right.
So if you or anybody else compares the performance of especially 3 parties, People's Party, PTI and PML-N, you will find that the performance of PML-N is sky high as compared to others. And people not only feel, they see with their own naked eyes the concrete work done and services rendered by PML-N. So therefore we believe that inshallah majority of people and most of the independent surveys also endorse my opinion that our party and our leadership is the most popular party and leadership in Pakistan.
When we talk about leadership, former Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi is also going to vie for NE53 opposite Imran Khan Saab from the PTI. Do you feel that this is going to be a strong contest as well?
I'm told that some Dr. Rafaqat, or what is his name, he is contesting against Shahid Khaqan.
We will of course get to know.
Let me correct you. Shahbaz Sharif Saab is not contesting from Karachi.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so that is confirmed.
Yes, yes.
All right. We've been joined by Waleed Iqbal Saab from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Waleed Iqbal Saab, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you for having me.
How is the system of giving the nominations for the different seats in the National Assembly and the Provincial Assemblies going on? How is the party overall satisfied by the progress in that regard?
It is just like any other election. I mean, we went through this process after becoming a big party in 2011. We have been through this process in 2013 when general elections were held. We have been through similar processes on smaller scales when the local body elections were taking place in 2015. Cantonment boards elections were taking place in 2015. So we've been through this process before. Like in any process of this sort, there are always haves and have-nots, and there are always disgruntled elements. And this is something that goes across parties. PML-N has encountered that in 2013. It's encountering that now. We encountered that in 2013, and we are encountering that now. That obviously, if there are 4,000 applications and only 400 tickets are to be allocated, then only 1 person in 10 will get tickets. So those who don't get them, those people and their supporters, some of them, are dignified about it, and some protest against it. So it's just a part of the process. There is obviously the process is not complete yet. I mean, there are some reviews going on. There are already, within hours of the first list having been released to the media and to the public at large, within hours there was a second list with some changes. And then in the ensuing days, there have been further changes. I mean, not sweeping changes, but, changes here, changes there, a change of a
All right,
provincial
when you talk
assembly
about
seat. So things
changes,
like
Waleed
that,
Iqbal Sahab, as in other parties as well, I was talking to the PML-N, Siddique Farooq as well, who is seated with us here. There have been people from your party who are not happy at the nominations for the seats from the PTI side as far as the National Assembly and Provincial Assembly seats are concerned. I'll cite an example. Former Secretary General of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Rawalpindi chapter Syed Shahid Gilani has announced that he's going to quit PTI, that he's not happy. There are others like him. This is just one of the examples. Why is this this content in your party as far as the nomination of names is concerned?
Well, I just mentioned to you that there are, situations like this every time tickets are to be awarded. Obviously, I just gave you the example, if one out of 10 persons is going to be awarded a ticket, there will always be haves and have-nots. And you have an example in front of you of Mr. Nisar Ali Khan in PML-N. You will not be able to cite an example of that stature in PTI if somebody has done a
In
thing
fact, that
like
was the first question I asked Siddique Saab.
Yeah, and let me also, just because I was listening in onto your conversation with Mr. Siddique Farooq, I recognized his voice and I extend my greetings to him. I heard, let me also mention to you that Mr. Imran Khan, chairman of PTI, is this time not contesting from a National Assembly seat in Rawalpindi. I believe he is contesting from a seat in Islamabad. Because now the number of seats in Islamabad has increased from 2 to 3. Last time there were 2 seats in the National Assembly.
Exactly.
So the seat that you mentioned, where the former Prime Minister is contesting, I believe, as Mr. Siddique Farooq said, or some other candidate of PTI would be contesting there. But I will just reiterate that there is always, you come across disgruntled elements. And as I said, the party is, Chairman Imran Khan last night or early in the morning tweeted that all old workers of, seasoned workers of PTI who feel that they have been neglected or overlooked. This is a Twitter message that he sent to the world at large, that, if you feel you have been neglected or overlooked, you can write a petition to the Additional Secretary General of the party, the name is given, in the central office. And he said, I will personally examine each petition. So, as I said, I mean, these problems are encountered in every party at the time of award of tickets. And obviously, there is every effort at our end, at the party's end, to resolve the situation as best possible.
All right. And the party is united as far as the whole process is concerned, as far as being strong and coming out strong in the 2018 elections is concerned?
Absolutely. We are in a state of full preparation for the 2018 election. It's just about 45 days away.
Exactly.
And obviously, this is not a time when any party can afford any significant division. I mean, I think there are different ways in which people who have not been awarded tickets react to being denied tickets. There are people who protest publicly. There are people who, internally make their pleas and appeals and whatever for reconsideration. So there is still a little bit of, I think about a couple of weeks left before the last date of withdrawal of nomination papers. So I think the endeavor is to resolve everything. And I don't see any major division. I mean, they're all localized problems which are similar to problems that are encountered by every party at the time of award of tickets for any general election.
All right. Thank you very much, Waleed Iqbal Sahab. That was Waleed Iqbal from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, giving us his point of view as far as his party is concerned, and also those who are not happy with the way the nominations have been given for the different seats in the national and provincial assemblies. We've been joined by author and poet Haris Khalique Saab, who's no stranger to PTV world. Haris Khalique Saab, it's a pleasure to have you on board in this show. Haris Saab, how do you view the overall political situation? A lot of changes are occurring. A lot of people are happy. Others are unhappy. Others are changing. parties for their benefit or for whichever reason. There are those that are unhappy with their own parties and are now going on as independents. How do you view this whole electoral process?
Thank you very much, Umar. I think, I mean, there are things which are natural to a political process. Since in Pakistan, we haven't had a normal, smooth, democratic process, uninterrupted. So we get a little too nervous when, when people fight among each other. I mean, non-violent fight,
yes,
as if, contest each other. And I mean, it is, I think, a very natural process. And I think political parties, in the heart of their hearts, must be very happy that there are so many people who want the ticket of that particular party. Having said that, now, coming to because I'm an optimist originally, and essentially
one should always be an optimist.
But being a realist now, wearing my realist hat.
Not at the cost of hazards, visible hazards.
But now wearing my realistic hat, or the hat of a realist, as it were, I think PTI in 2018 is the same party which Mazarat ke saath, with Siddique Farooq Sahab, I beg your pardon, sir, but which the PML-N was in 1990. Why we think that this should stop? I mean, the cycle must break, because unfortunately there is a party which is supported by people, forces which are not democratic.
All right.
To put, I mean, what you call establishment or some military, but I actually call it affluent, urban, educated, middle class and the appointed class in Pakistan, whether they are military or civil.
All right.
Because you see judiciary playing out its cards differently also all along the history of Pakistan, not just the present judiciary. So you see that there is a political party which is the King's Party. And the king is the affluent, urban, educated, middle class and its institutions which are incapable of getting elected on their own. And those institutions, the bureaucracy, the civil and military bureaucracy, in cahoots with the larger class, which is the constituency of the appointed, actually conspire or intrigue or hatch conspiracies against, which includes a large segment of the media also, if you allow me to say that, against the elected dirty politicians. And that must stop in Pakistan, because no country in the world has ever emerged out of its problems in a sustainable fashion. The examples we give of some small Far Eastern city-states are not, it's not tenable. So, the countries as large as Pakistan, countries, sixth largest population in a federation which has federating units, we tend to forget that. Where you have these, constitutional federating units who have their own, voice in the constitution of Pakistan. So I think to govern a country like Pakistan, what you need is a democratic order and a commitment to federalism and a commitment
isn't this a kind of a democratic order? This is the third time the whole
I don't
democratic
think
process
so.
is continuing.
No, you're absolutely. I mean, there are gains. There has been gains, but due to some sort of misgivings between the civilian political leadership and the military leadership. I'm not suggesting military, but military leadership.
All right.
During the last many years after General Musharraf, you see those misgivings and the mistrust that we have, and we have a certain kind of historic baggage that we continue to deal with. There hasn't really been a resolution of who is going to be supreme, the parliament or people who are appointed by I mean, this is kind of very interesting, because people who actually wield power in Pakistan are actually appointed by those politicians who they stand against for the right or the wrong reason. So I think, and the truth lies somewhere in between also. I mean, you can't
All
really...
right. Well, the truth lies in between. I'm going to get back to you on that. Haider Zaman Qureshi joins us from the Pakistan People's Party. Qureshi sir, thank you very much to have joined us. How is the People's Party gearing up for the election, sir?
Well, we are gearing pretty well. We've already announced our candidates for the province of Sindh, the National Assembly and Provincial, and also for the KPK. And we are in the process of doing the same for Punjab. We've received a very substantial response compared to the 2013. A lot of people applied, and there was a full due diligence, and the parliamentary boards were constituted at the provincial level, and then their recommendations were screened and deliberated and discussed in the Central Election Board, headed by the chairman, Pakistan People's Party, and President Asif Zardari, and other key members. And I think we are going to go into this election with a very innovative and very positive manifesto, which is going to be unfolded soon by the chairman. And in this current environment, where you see a lot of defections, people floating around for all the right and wrong reasons, and then we have parties like PTI who have been championing the cause of being the anti to status quo, but in fact they have become an owned, have transformed their own nucleus into the status quo, if I may put it that way. And they now stand not as catalyst of change, but a victim of change themselves. And in contradiction, the PML-N is in dire straits. They are whipping up a narrative which I think the Pakistani people will respond to in the election. They're trying to portray themselves as victims of a process which is transparent, and the judicial process is continuing, and they have to face the courts and accountability process. But they are trying to create a situation where they were in the government, but they're also trying to be the opposition leaders. So it's a pretty interesting situation, but our leadership feels that we don't have to go into a mudslinging exercise like the PTI or maybe the PML-N people, but we want to focus on the core problems of the people of Pakistan: water scarcity, foreign policy challenges, agriculture reforms, enhancement of tax base, better working conditions for the minorities, more jobs for youth, a successful translation of CPAC, which creates more jobs, which increases our industrial base. So these are the areas where Pakistan People's Party, and of course continuity of the policy of against terrorism, so that Pakistan comes out of that war on terror and there's more peace and prosperity. We did have an operation in the province of Sindh with the support of the federal government, of course, but the law enforcement agencies have substantially cleared out the mess in particularly Karachi, and you see there's more economic activity. We would want the same in the entire country, and we would want a better economy, not like fight figures that have been given, as a result of which we've had an economic meltdown in the last 8 or 10 months. We are almost on the threshold of going to another IMF program. We've borrowed $47 billion. Today, the State Bank again had to devalue the currency by 5%, which will trigger more inflation. So these are the challenges that the incumbent and the incoming government will have to face. So in this kind of economic challenging times, a struggling foreign policy, I think Pakistan People's Party has enough on the platter, and we are not really worried or bothered who's been kicked out for what reason. The people of Pakistan are more interested in their daily matters. They're not really interested who has plundered how much. They're probably more interested in what is the delivery, what is the good governance, and what's the trickle-down effect to the common man. How is his life better, health-wise, education-wise, clean drinking water-wise, jobs-wise, law and order improvement-wise. So I think these would be the features of our election campaign.
All right. Speaking of your election campaign and the people that you've nominated, I just wanted to kind of confirm, are Azra Fazal Pichohu and Faryal Talpur Sahiba contesting this time or not?
Talpur Sahiba has been given a provincial assembly. She's been nominated from Larkana, and Dr. Azra Sahiba is also going to be recommended. I think probably she was being contemplated by the Central Election Board for the reserve seats, I believe. And we are going to bring in minimum of 5% from the general seats as per the requirements of the new election law. We want more women participation. Pakistan People's Party leadership strongly believes in more women participation in the general elections, and you've seen that we are putting up Sheila Raza, who is our deputy speaker, against Mr. Imran Khan of PTI in Karachi, and we are going to put up more women candidates for general election seats. So Pakistan People's Party and then minorities, we have awarded 3 tickets for minorities on general election seats, general seats. So this way, I think, and there's a lot of youth that we are going to put up on certain electoral seats. So I think it's going to be a good blend of experience and diversity within different sectors and castes. We've got some people from the film industry. We've got some people who are writers who are going to be contesting elections. So it's going to be a real good blend of people across the board.
Sir, one more thing. Speaking of the youth, are we or are we not going to see Asifa Bhutto Zardari?
Asifa Bhutto Zardari, inshallah, is going to be contesting for the provincial assembly seat, and we would want to see her sooner than everyone in the parliament. And I'm sure she is so much talented, and she is so keen to play her role in the public domain. And we are very hopeful that once she gets to the parliament, she will certainly make her mark. And being the Bhutto family icon, and she has already made her mark in the international arena for polio, the goodwill work that she has done, and I think she commands a lot of respect across partisan, and a lot of people would want to see her building up that progressive liberal Pakistan that Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Mohtarma Shaheed Benazir Bhutto visioned, and we would want to see her, and inshallah the party is keen to see her as well in the parliament.
All right, and finally, a little bit of ripple in your party as well. We've got Sardar Abdul Qayyum Khan Jatui, who's left your party and is now contesting as an independent candidate. Other people who are not satisfied with the Pakistan People's Party. Why is that so? Is that a normal process in your point of view?
No, that is not a normal process. Sardar Abdul Qayyum Jatoi's district situation is a bit tricky, and he had requested the party to permit him to contest independent because, some people had floated to PTI and some people wanted to contest, and in view of some local arrangements, he has decided to run independent, but or even a couple of other leaders. But I think we are pretty confident that once they get elected, they will certainly come back to Pakistan People's Party. They have not joined any party, but yes, they have chosen in view of their local compulsions within their particular districts, and a lot of polarization of politics after a 3-party system has come up now. So a lot of people are floating around. So I think they had their own particular district situation. But having said that, there are a lot of people who are contesting on Pakistan People's Party ticket, and we have got a lot of new faces. And I think time has come that the electable syndrome needs to be buried, and Pakistan needs to see a new crop of politicians, youth, educated, middle-class people coming up into the political arena and doing the service. Certainly, PTI, which was the catalyst, so-called catalyst for change, well, out of the 173 National Assembly seats, only 23 seats have gone to their traditional workers or people who were indigenously PTI. The 150 has gone to, the birds of the feather which have flocked together, from all sorts of places. So they are now a company which has people from Musharraf's time, Khalique, People's Party, and even PML-N. So all the courtiers of the court have, from various courts from time to time have now, flocked together. So let them go. They are there not for the love of PTI. They are not there for the love of ideology of Imran Khan, if at all there is one. They are there just because, they feel that they have a better chance of, going past the goal post and making it to the parliament. But I think Pakistan and the people of Pakistan will, go for a decisive vote this time and bury all these floaters who always, choose parties for their own petty economic or financial interests or some other gains, and compromise the people and the electorate and all those areas and issues for which they were elected in the first place. So I think it's going to be an interesting election, but the projections are it's going to be a hung parliament and a more polarized system. But the good thing is this, and I think the positive part of this is that democracy is continuing. All the institutions of the state are supporting democracy and continuity of democracy. And I think through continuity of democracy and these consistent elections every and completion of tenure of parliament, we will see better people coming through, more transparency, more accountability, and better democracy and more accountability before the people of Pakistan. So I think it will augur all well if elections are held on time and transparently and after due process. An election commission has a heavy responsibility to conduct free, fair and transparent elections.
That is so true. Thank you so very much, sir, to have given us your time, to have given us the opinion of the Pakistan People's Party as far as the elections and, of course, the nominations from the Pakistan People's Party side are concerned. A lot of different points that have been taken out during my conversation with Mr. Haider. PTI-N status quo. Is PTI a victim of change? Is PML-N in dire straits? Let's ask from you, Siddique Farooq Saab, is PML-N in dire straits as the Pakistan People's Party says?
Pardon?
Is the PML-N in dire straits? Is it in a kind of stuck in situations, difficult situations?
Of course, difficulties have been created for us. Look, our top leadership is facing courts, trials, etc. But as I have already stated that all independent surveys endorse that still the PML-N is the most popular party.
All right.
So we believe that it will not be a hung parliament, and God willing, we will inshallah be a winning majority. The problem, what is the solution to all problems? There is civil-military divide. There are government servants in one way or the other. They are interfering with different things. The solution lies in observance of the Constitution in letter and spirit. And this observance guarantees the solidarity of Pakistan. So if we do not follow the Constitution, God forbid, there can be something very serious in coming future.
All right.
Secondly, the accountability. Even if there are different institutions, courts, NAB, etc., these institutions have to work within their own limits. Judicial activism will not work. Accountability must be within limits and by the people of Pakistan through vote. People of Pakistan hold their leaders accountable. And on the other hand, Mr. Haider Zaman referred to the manifesto and performance. Yes, of course. Manifesto is not all. It is only implementation. We gave a manifestation, election manifesto, in 2013, and we implemented it up to 80%. Whether it is energy, whether it is infrastructure, take the example of CPEC, whether it is terrorism. In all fields, we have delivered education, health, etc. So if people weigh our performance or the performance of all political parties, they will inshallah vote for PMLN. And we have to, all political parties have to sit together and evolve a consensus on strategic issues confronting this state of Pakistan. If they don't evolve consensus, I think I will once again say and insist that then we have no bright future.
All right, Khalique Saab, during all of this discussion, we talk about manifesto versus performance. We talk about consensus on strategic issues in Pakistan. Has that been done in the past few years? Will you see that happening in these elections since the dates have been announced, as far as the different parties, whether it be PML-N, PTI, Pakistan People's Party, or the other parties are concerned? Are you optimistic that they're going to perform as per their manifesto? Your take.
You see, Umar, the issue is that a manifesto is not taken seriously by any political party. Because there are no separate platforms when it comes to how the economy of this country should look like. Unfortunately, if you look at all the three main contenders, the PP, the PML-N and the PTI, there is a broad consensus that Pakistan is going to follow the same neoliberal economic paradigm, would fall in the same paradigm, would continue with the same policies. Even the People's Party, which claims itself to be a left of the center party, it has put Mandvi Wala Saab in charge of its defining its economic policy. Nothing personal against him, but he represents a certain mindset.
True.
And he comes from a certain class, and that class has certain interests. Likewise, the two other parties are essentially right of the center parties, PML-N and PTI. I mean, who's going to write the manifesto for PTI? Some old chief executive of a corporate firm, or some, a group of right-wing economists. Likewise, PML-N never claims to be a left of the center party.
That brings me to the
point. So I think, if you allow me to finish.
Yes,
so I think there is no ideological politics happening in Pakistan when it comes to, a different kind of an economic paradigm being promoted or pursued by a political party at a theoretical level. Now, in practical terms, there are differences. I mean, people have different preferences and different choices. PML-N invests more and believes more in investing in infrastructure, in large infrastructure projects, and they have an idea. And I don't, think that we should take it for granted. I think there is an idea behind that, that if you invest in large scale infrastructure projects, there's going to be a trickle down. Now, I find it amazing that Haider Zaman Qureshi Saab of the PPP speaks the same language, and he calls it trickle down to the poor. So the rich become richer, and what gets, when your cup is brim full and it actually rather overflows, then people at the bottom also benefit. So I think this is something really interesting. But likewise, PTI has no plan whatsoever. I mean, the kind of plan that PTI offers, the issues, I mean, the things that they say that we are going to create such and such jobs, by doing what? I mean, if you privatize, how would the state create jobs? Even if you invest in private sector. I mean, Pakistan is a problem. We are a confused theocracy in the religious sense, and we are a confused economy when it comes to going full scale laissez-faire or going social democratic or socialistic lines. So I think that confusion permeates all our thinking across all our political parties, and this is something that Pakistan's political parties need to sit together. When Siddique Farooq Saab would want political parties to come together and have another charter of democracy, including the PTI and some other parties like the Sarzamin, the Pak Sarzamin, and the Balochistan Awami Party, the new mushroom growth that we have seen over the past few years, including them and broadening the remit of the Charter of Democracy, they should also sit together and think about the ailments that we find in our economy. I mean, dollar, rupee, the
Has just fallen again.
Yeah.
Political instability, nothing else.
No, it's not just that. I think nobody can actually singularly fix the economic question, the economic problems in Pakistan. There are
But
multiple
why,
areas.
but why so? We've got
I'll refer
Siddique
to
sahab.
Turkey. When there was a time when lira had no value at all.
All right.
And at that time, there was dictatorship, army dictatorship, military dictatorship in Turkey.
All right.
So when the civilian government through elections came, now because of their policies and continuity, lira is
All right.
valuable
But
currency.
Siddique
You
sahab-
see, that is the problem with PML-N on a
Similarly.
lighter note. On a lighter note, Siddique Saab, sorry to cut you in the middle. If they hadn't been threatening the other powers by emulating, by their desire to emulate Erdogan, probably they were not in a tight spot like,
I'm sorry.
like this.
We have not gone even an inch beyond constitution. What was our effort or objective was to remain within constitutional ambit.
Sir,
Everyone.
Siddique sahab, which brings me to a point that you yourself have mentioned. Consensus on strategic issues on Pakistan. Has the PML-N, in your point of view, and then I'll ask Haris sahab because we are a bit coming to the end of the show, has the PML-N gotten together the different political parties during its 5-year tenure on important strategic issues? You talk of consensus. Have you,
of course.
during your 5-year tenure,
Of course,
managed to do that?
about terrorism, we convened an APC and there was a consensus. About water and about CPAC, we convened APCs
All right.
and resultantly the consensus was evolved. So if with that spirit to build state of Pakistan, to solve all problems amicably, if we sit together with good intention, consensus can be evolved.
All right. All right. What is your take on that, Haris sahab?
I think they fall short of doing what they should have done, and I think they have actually suffered, and they suffered the damage even today because PML-N actually did not, in letter and spirit, did not continue with the Charter of Democracy. They had pushed People's Party to the wall, and now it is quite obvious that there are internal rifts within the party, and a large part of PML-N actually internally recognizes that they had pushed People's Party to the wall. And except for the by-elections, they were not actually following what they agreed with the People's Party in the Charter of Democracy. The Constitutional Court could not have been established in the last 10 years. PML-N had an opportunity. What President Zardari did, he got rid of so many amendments to the Constitution done under the military dictatorships and had the 18th Amendment passed. Yusuf Raza Gilani was when he was the Prime Minister, he had the NFC award instituted. Now PML-N actually had an opportunity to separate the Constitutional Court from the courts that we have. They did not do that. They went against, during the Memo Gate or occasions like that in Karachi, the operation against in Karachi under the supervision of the federal government. So I think for future they should actually introspect and see what went wrong, because People's Party and all other political parties came to their rescue when this motivated dharna was happening, when PTV was also attacked in 2014. But I think PML-N should actually now introspect, and I think Mian Nawaz Sharif is introspecting, but it is too little too late. And but now in the new term, I agree with Siddique Farooq Saab that the projections in fact do not show that there is going to be a hung parliament. So if they get an
This
opportunity,
was what the Pakistan People's Party was saying.
yeah, but everybody is saying that because and this is actually quite interesting that how media is manipulated. That projections don't show that, but all of our media is saying that. And our media is very reluctantly saying that because a large part of the media actually already has declared Imran Khan the Prime Minister.
All right.
So I think very quickly, if they come to power, somehow, although it's becoming really difficult for them, I'm not a PML-N voter traditionally, but I really empathize with the kind of situation in which PML-N is. But if they come, they should actually reflect and see how to strengthen the political process in Pakistan, not by confronting the military, but actually by coalescing and associating and strengthening the political process.
All right. A lot of discussion on the political front that is going on. I'm sorry, Siddique, Farooq Sahab, we're a bit short of time. If you want to have just one sentence, one, two phrases.
I do not agree with all the points that have been narrated by my friend Khalique Sahab. But inshallah next time.
All right, next time we'll continue this discussion. That is part of a healthy democracy, healthy discussion. Whether you are for or against, you can talk about it openly. This is the platform where we talk about it. There are other platforms as well. But something that comes out of all of this discussion is introspection. All parties are doing that, or if they haven't, they need to do that. New faces are coming. That is what the PTI claims, the People's Party also claims. Tried and tested versus the new. Introspection, yes or no. Consensus on strategic issues, will that happen in the future? Whichever party takes power, as long as it is through a democratic process, whichever party comes for the benefit of the nation, for the benefit of our country, that is Pakistan. Allah Hafiz. Take care.